Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the steps to consider as you're preparing for your upcoming strategic planning session. So the first step to consider is think about when will you be holding the sessions. Ideally, as a senior leadership or executive team, you'll have around 3 to 6 months lead time, which will allow you ample time to prepare for your session. The next step to consider is, will you be leading the session yourself as the executive team member, or will you be working with an external facilitator? If you're planning on leading the session yourself, you become the facilitator. So keeping in mind that while you can do this, you will change the dynamics a little bit. Rather than participating with your fellow colleagues, you will be leading them through this exercise. Whereas working with an external facilitator, you're being guided by someone with specific knowledge and expertise in strategic planning, and someone who can facilitate alignment and buy-in throughout all of your team members, including yourself. Regardless, the next step to do is communicate early. So as you're approaching the strategic planning time, think about who does need to be included. Are those your executive team members? Are those board members? Are those other senior leadership members? Who are key decision makers in your organization that need to be a part of the full strategic planning process? Once you've mapped this out and you know who those folks are, communicate with them early so they know that this is coming around the corner, so they can be physically and mentally prepared to be there at the session. Also, consider engaging critical stakeholders who may not be a part of that full strategic planning process. Are there some critical staff members, middle managers, external stakeholders that you would like to have feedback from? This is a great time to send out surveys, hold town halls, have one-on-one check-ins, and so forth to really get some robust feedback ahead of your planning session that can help actually influence your leadership team as you develop your plan. The next step is to determine your session details. Are you going to hold your session virtually or have it in person? There are pros and cons to each, and it really depends on what works best for your individual team. If you are having the session in person, another thing to consider is, will we be having it on site at our current work location? If you have the facilities and a fairly centralized working team, that may be what works best for you. Now, if your team is spread out, or maybe you have a hybrid virtual in-person team across the country, you may want to consider going offsite to a different location. Again, it really depends on what works best for your team. Then, make sure to have a complete pre-work process. Now, if you are leading this yourself, this will probably include interviews, stakeholder engagement, as mentioned previously, and perhaps some other phone calls, one-on-ones, just to get everyone prepared for the upcoming session. If you have an external facilitator, they will guide you through this process. Make sure to send calendar invites so everyone's got the dates in their calendars, and then really check off any other upcoming to-dos that will help you prepare for this session. The last step, dive into those logistics, and it really segues out from number 4 here. So develop an agenda, again, with your facilitator if you have one. What an agenda will do will help you stay focused and on track for those sessions, whether you're 2 days on site or doing this in a smaller chunk of time over the course of a few weeks online. It'll be really important to keep everyone engaged, focused, on track towards that end outcome of having a complete strategic plan that can be implemented afterwards. Then book your rooms, accommodations, food and refreshments, etc. Anything that needs to be booked depending on what your team decided. That's a great time to do it. Don't leave it until the last minute before your session, but really get all of this done leading up to your sessions. So start to finish, 3 to 6 months to prepare, 6 months on the longer side, 3 months on the shorter end. Really will give you enough time to bring into the session. Thank you. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions about preparing for your upcoming strategic plan.